In the shadowy corridors of political and economic power in Haiti, a newly surfaced revelation has reignited public outrage and reopened long-standing wounds about corruption and impunity. A dramatic accusation has placed one of the country's most influential figures at the center of a scandal with potentially explosive consequences. André Apaid, one of Haiti's wealthiest businessmen, long considered part of the nation's oligarchic elite and a U.S. citizen by birth, now finds himself accused of overseeing a sophisticated drug production network in partnership with another prominent figure, businessman Charles Henry Baker. These allegations were made public by gang leader Lambo Sanju, who on November 9, 2025, released a 10-minute video that he claims shows a fully operational cocaine and marijuana processing facility located in Croix de Bouquet. The footage, which quickly went viral across social media platforms, shows large industrial equipment, barrels, and packaging materials. Sanju, speaking over the video, identifies what he describes as sacks of narcotics ready for export. The release of the video did not occur in isolation. 2 days earlier, Sanju had issued a public ultimatum to André Apaid, demanding that he meet with him within 48 hours to negotiate. According to Sanju, this was not his first attempt to engage with members of Haiti's elite to discuss grievances and alleged abuses. This time, however, he claims the response was aggressive rather than diplomatic. Instead of dialogue, he says the Haitian National Police were mobilized to hunt him down. Feeling betrayed and threatened, Sanju retaliated by making the footage public, stating that the country deserved to see what he described as a secret drug production empire tied to high-ranking elites. Sanju further alleges that the facility is built on an 80-acre compound used not only for narcotics processing, but also for organ trafficking, an accusation that, if proven true, would constitute one of the most disturbing crimes in the country's modern history. The video includes scenes of a large pit filled with what Sanju claims are human remains, which he presents as evidence of a mass grave linked to the illicit activities at the site. While there has been no independent verification of these claims, the imagery has sparked widespread fear, anger, and disbelief. What has shocked the nation even more than the allegations is the near-total silence from Haitian authorities. Since the video's release, the Haitian National Police have issued no statement, launched no formal investigation, and visited neither the alleged facility nor the surrounding area. Multiple sources report that rather than securing the site, the police have concentrated their efforts on pursuing Sanju himself, allegedly with the goal of silencing him and reclaiming the property without public scrutiny. As a result, the facility, supposedly linked to Apaid and Baker, remains untouched and unexamined. Mainstream Haitian media have also kept quiet. Major television stations and radio outlets have avoided covering the story, despite its viral circulation. Only independent online platforms, a handful of investigative bloggers, and local residents have discussed the situation, analyzing satellite images and reviewing the video. The media blackout has deepened public suspicion that powerful interests are being shielded from scrutiny. Many citizens now openly accuse the police, the government, and the traditional media of protecting oligarchs rather than serving the public. For many Haitians, this controversy reinforces long-held beliefs that the country's institutions are controlled by the same elites accused of exploiting and destabilizing the nation. The scandal also revives earlier criticisms of André Apaid. Born in New York in 1952 to a wealthy Lebanese Haitian family, Apaid inherited a business empire rooted in Alpha Industries, a textile conglomerate built during the Duvalier dictatorship. His father, André Apaid Sr., maintained close ties with the regime, securing the family's position among Haiti's most powerful economic clans. In the early 2000s, Apaid became the leader of the Group of 184, a coalition of business figures and civil society organizations that organized mass demonstrations against President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Although the group claimed to represent democratic ideals, critics argued that it was backed by foreign interests and contributed to Aristide's ousting in 2004. Over the years, Apaid expanded his influence through business ventures and political alliances, publicly portraying himself as a reformer focused on job creation and development. His flagship project in the Central Plateau promised 20,000 jobs, new schools, and agricultural investment. Behind the scenes, however, human rights groups and investigative reporters have linked him to corruption and criminal networks. International scrutiny intensified in 2023 when Canada imposed sanctions on him for human rights abuses, including gender-based violence. The sanctions froze his Canadian assets and barred him from entering the country. Shortly afterward, the United States added him to its own sanctions list, citing corruption and destabilizing activities in Haiti. As a U.S. citizen, AP is legally obligated to report all global income to U.S. tax authorities, including revenues derived from any illegal activity. Should the accusations of drug trafficking or organ trafficking be substantiated, he could face federal charges for narcotics smuggling, money laundering, and human rights violations. The scandal has now reached the international stage. Many Haitians are calling not only on their own government, but also on U.S. President Donald Trump to intervene. They argue that if the U.S. government is serious about combating drug trafficking in the Caribbean, it must confront the networks allegedly operating in Haiti rather than focusing solely on Venezuela. Citizens demand that the same pressure applied against foreign cartels be used against their own elites, whom they accuse of orchestrating and profiting from criminal operations. Sanju's video has become a national turning point. Its raw images and uncompromising tone have forced the country to confront a harsh reality that many suspected but few dared to articulate publicly: that the roots of Haiti's drug trade may lie not in its impoverished neighborhoods, but in the upper echelons of the political and economic hierarchy. The video has intensified public anger and revived debates about state corruption, elite impunity, and foreign involvement. Yet despite widespread public unrest, the institutions expected to respond remain silent. The police have taken no action. The government has offered no explanation. Traditional media have avoided the subject, and the site at Croix des Bouquets remains unexamined, raising doubts about whether the truth will ever come to light. As the controversy deepens, Haitians demand answers. Will the alleged facility ever be inspected? Will the supposed human remains, if they exist, be analyzed? Will those accused of wrongdoing be investigated, or will the case be quietly buried like so many others before it? For now, attention turns to Haiti's police, its fragile government, and the international community. The central question is no longer whether Haiti's poor are responsible for violence, but whether its wealthy power brokers will finally be held accountable. The unfolding story of André Apaid is no longer just about politics or business. It has become a story about fear, power, and the cost of truth in a nation where silence has long been enforced from the top down.